Ever since I've started editing and doing film work, I think I've jumped between 5 to 10 different editors now, just trying to figure out which one's best for me. And throughout all the editors that I've been through, Final Cut Pro, Premiere Pro, jumping into Vegas, Sony Vegas, then jumping into DaVinci Resolve, I can say that out of all of them, DaVinci Resolve has always been the best one in every single way. It runs better than all of them, it handles footage heavier than all of them, it has amazing color grading, and it's super easy to learn once you get the flow of it. When you're in Premiere Pro, you're constantly digging for things, trying to find where they are. When you're in DaVinci Resolve, everything is nice and it flows, and I'm going to show you that as we do this video. Originally, I wasn't sure how to present this video and how to teach someone how to edit video. It's kind of something you just have to play with. So what I'm going to do is show you how I edit my videos, because if we just go through every tool here, it's going to be a 10-hour video. We're going to go through how I edit videos, and then you guys can pick up things that you want across the process. Once you download DaVinci Resolve and you open it up, you're going to get greeted with this project manager. It's pretty much like a little file explorer for all your DaVinci Resolve projects. So we're going to go inside and we're going to go and click on this project right here. When that opens up, you'll start off on the first page, which is the media page. And this is the page where you import media into your project. Now, unless you're doing a giant feature film and you have thousands of files and pictures and things to show on the screen, you don't really need to use this page, but the idea is that you go here and dig through your computer files and just find things, and then you drag them into the bottom here where you can organize them in bins and section them out. Usually what I do is I'll have like scene 1, scene 2, scene 3 if it's a film, or if it's a YouTube video, I'll just have bin 1 and bin 2. One will be for audio, one will be for video. The next page usually would be the cut page, but personally I am not a fan of it. I don't think it works well, I don't enjoy it, so I skip over it. I actually go into settings on the top, in the settings bar on the top, and I go and show page and remove the cut page. I just remove it entirely because I don't like it. Then I go to the edit page, which is usually where I spend most of my time. So if I have a video I want to import, I would just import it straight into the bin on top here. So I would go to my file explorer. Let's say we go to download. Okay, well, we like this picture, we just drag it in. Once you have everything you want imported, you're ready to go to just pull it on the timeline and start editing it from there. I click Alt and scroll wheel and scroll in and out of my timeline when I want to move around. And then within here, you can make your audio larger or smaller. When I edit, I make my audio large so I can use audio to cut around. If your audio is too quiet or too loud, you have a white bar here that you can move it up and down, and you can see the waveform actually change with it to give you an indicator of how loud it really is. So if it's doing this, it's going to be blasting your ears because it's at the top. Well, if it's down here and it's just a flat line, it's going to be super quiet and you probably won't hear it. Now to edit, it's pretty simple. I usually use the default keys. So B is to cut, or you can go and click on the cutting tool, but B is to cut. So let's say I watch it for a sec. So I want this part right here. So I cut right there and I cut right there. I click A to go back to mouse. I click on the clips I want to delete, and I have two options now. I can click backspace or I can click delete. If you click the delete key, it deletes the clip and the space it was taking. So let's do that again. It actually takes the space away. While if you click backspace, it's just going to take the clip away, but not the space. This is called ripple deleting. So if you want the space to be removed, let's say I wanted to delete this right here, and I want that clip to snap to the front, that's using the delete key. If I click the backspace key, it just removes the space, and then I'd have to drag it over, or you'd have to click on the empty space and then click delete or backspace. That already is a huge part of editing. You pretty much have to go around, find what you want, cut it up, cut it up, cut it up, and then delete what you don't want. You can also right click if you want to and do that. Once you find the clips that you like and you've got your rough cut going, and let's say now I want to do some audio work and add some titles and text. So the way DaVinci Resolve works is things on the left are things you usually import, and then on the right is how you edit them and manipulate them. So if we go on the top here, on the left, we have effects library, and we have a bunch of effects for different things: video, audio, titles, generators, effects, audio effects, a bunch of different things. So let's say I want to do an audio effect where I want to add an echo. So I take it and I drag it onto my clip, and then here I have the ability to change it around and do a bunch of settings. Then I just got to click close this. And if I want to do more changes, you go to the right to your inspector, and you find in your audio at the bottom your echo. And all you gotta do is click on that and you can open it up again. The inspector is where you do all the manipulation and the changes. So if you want to zoom in and zoom out, that's where you do it here. If you want to move things left and right, that's what you do here. Same thing with up and down. You can rotate things here, you can anchor things here. You can really do a lot in the inspector. And then you have the equivalent for audio, which is where you'd find your echo. Now let's say you've got everything you needed, you've added some text, and you're happy with your text, you're happy with your audio work, everything's looking good. The next step would be to go to the color page. And if you see a Fusion page, Fusion is where you do motion graphics and VFX. So if you want text sliding on the screen, if you want things like that, that's where you would do it in Fusion. Fusion itself is a huge program, and that in itself can be like a 30-minute video. So I'm gonna move on for now to color grading and everything else like I would do in a normal video. But if I wanted to do some special effects, that's where I would do it. And if you guys are interested, I can always make a video for it. So the next thing to do is go to the color page, where we will be jumping around in the LUTs. The LUTs are predefined colors that you can use to change the effect of how your video looks. So for my camera, for some reason, a drone LUT works really well. So this is like a color grade for a drone, and it looks really good on my camera. So I take it and I drag it onto the node on the right here. Now this node system, again, this is like Fusion, is very complicated and there's a lot of things to it. So all you gotta worry about is that there's one node, and when you click on it, you do a bunch of settings to it and a bunch of changes to it. The idea of nodes is that when you create multiple nodes, each one can have a specific task. Like one can be your contrast, one can be your saturation, one can be something else, and you can go and edit them separately, delete them separately, change up which happens first, which happens last. It's just a whole system to edit that, and right now we don't need to worry about that. Next thing we're going to focus on is on the bottom left. We have a bunch of different panels. There's two that we're going to worry about. The first one is color wheels, where we have little dots here, and I'm going to click on the third one. You've got shadows, midtones, and highlights. This is how you change the lighting in your shot. So if something that's really bright is too bright, you can lower it in the highlights. If something that's really dark is too dark, you can brighten it. So you see how things in the background are fully shadowed out. If I move this up, now they get shown again. So this is where you change up your lighting in your shot. But you can always just do offset, which is like overall brightness of the shot. Right under that, there's a tiny little bar where for some reason they like to hide the important settings like contrast. So here we can go and add some contrast into our shot. We can go over one more click and move around the temperature, the shadows. If you go over to the first dot again, so we moved on from this one to this one, and you need to go down here, you have contrast and saturation, which are usually the two that you use. So if you pull saturation down, there won't be any color. So now we feel like our color is good. We've done a edit of our video. We've added our audio effects, our titles, everything we want, and we're happy with, and we're ready to export this video. So we're gonna move on to the deliver page, and we're quickly gonna skip over the Fairlight page. Fairlight is just an audio editor, just like you would do in the editing page, but the whole idea is that the video gets put to the top corner, and now you have a bunch of room to do audio work. So pretty much if I was to go to the edit page and move this line all the way up, that's pretty much what the Fairlight page is. It's just giving you a bunch of room to edit your audio and focus on audio instead of having a bunch of clutter on the screen. So we're gonna go to the deliver page, and this might seem a bit complicated, but it's actually super simple. Here's how I do it. I go to custom, I browse, I find somewhere where I want my video to be exported, I click save, I change the title to tutorial clip, I choose single clip, video settings are MP4, 264, NVIDIA, if you have a graphics card, it'll just export faster. And then depending on resolution, what you set before you started this project, mine I set 1080 at 24 frames a second. I don't touch any of this stuff. I don't go into advanced settings. I don't go into subtitle settings. I don't need that stuff. Audio, I don't play with this at all. And file, I don't play with that either. So video, at the bottom you add a render queue, and it's going to add a job on the right side of your screen. Now a job is pretty much what it sounds like, a job. So it needs to export this clip. If you had a 10-minute video that you wanted to cut into 5 Instagram clips, this is where you would do it. You would go to your video and you would click here and you'd right click, mark out, and now you can move out this line and choose only half of your thing to be exported. And then when you're done with that, you can choose for this half to be exported. And you could turn those into 2 separate jobs that you could just run together on the side when you click Start Render. Then all you gotta do is wait for it to render out, and I just right click, open file location. There's my video, it's already highlighted, and all I gotta do is drag it onto YouTube, and it's super easy. I understand if this video was a little bit like, oh my god, there's so much going on, I'm not sure what to do, but over time you'll get more and more comfortable. This was just kind of to show you the ropes, to show you where to look for things, to save you that hour to 2 hour where you'd be Googling, where is the contrast ratio tool? Where is the tool where you add in titles? That's kind of what this video was for. If you want to learn something specific, let me know, because I'll be doing a video on every single page here. I'm going to make a video about how to color grade, like what is color grading, how do you make a shot look better, like how do I take this shot from this and add some color and make it this. If this video was helpful, please do give it a like. It really helps us a long way in the algorithm. If you want to see more of this kind of content, you could subscribe to the channel and even hit the bell notification so you know when we're streaming. And in streams, you can always come and ask these kind of questions and I'll answer them for you live on stream. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you tomorrow in the live stream.